chain, there's bound to be the effect on the cost locally in the marketplace. I would equally say this: cost of doing business as a Nigerian is so high, it's incredible. For you to even export goods out of this country is so challenging. Many times you're saying to yourself, do I rather be an importer or be an exporter? Most people have to settle for imports because then again, the conditions for which allow it to be successful are basically non-existent. So we need a government that should pay attention. Let's even go into e-commerce. You're a young person, you make fashion products in your mother's bedroom, and you want to sell these products overseas. You have to take means, you have to use or leverage products, that are not Nigerian to reach a wider market globally and even locally. If I'm in Makodi and I want to sell a product to a customer in Port Harcourt, I have to run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Twitter ads. So I walk into a bank, I get a GT Bank, Access Bank, Zenith Bank account, I load it with Naira, I go on Facebook.com, I want to purchase ads. My banks will not even let me buy ad time or credits on these platforms, only if I'm spending US dollars. The same bank that said I cannot even get access to more than $20 in a month. So I now have to walk across the street, find a BDC, find a local Bureau de change, or, again, perhaps a bookie that will sell me dollars, find a friend, peer-to-peer trade, before I can advertise the business, my mother's bedroom, which I will sell in Naira, but I first have to go look for the dollar to sell a product in Naira to Nigerian customers. It's incredible. So what's the government doing to say, okay, hey, even for the tech or fintech industry, e-commerce, what are we doing to alleviate the pains? The young people, the 16, 17-year-old, where you have no business looking for dollars, at a very young age, you're already joining this dollar economy. So we need smart policies. We need a smart government. Over to
well, now I like the fact that you've been able to break this down for us to understand, and looking at ways to curb this. We're solution based. We're looking for solutions. What would you? Is it that experts have advised the CBN and the CBN doesn't listen, or that the CBN doesn't know what it's doing? Because we had recently, just 2 days ago, there was a monetary policy committee meeting where the MPR was raised. Are we not looking at modern ways to, solve the economic problems and the Forex problems that we have? Does it mean that the CBN and the Monetary Policy Committee are bereft of ideas? What are your thoughts? What do you think is a problem, and how we can go about solving it?
So policy after policy, implemented to tackle these, issues are not being medicated properly. And I say this because, again, the CBN is comprised of a lot of very smart individuals. But then in Nigeria, I think we have this problem when it comes to implementation, right? We started off with, we want to curb, money laundering. We want to curb, the runaway FX rates. You saw them, again, reach out to the banks and stop deposits of, Forex into accounts. You saw them, come up with the fact that, again, you can only move money out if it's inflow, if it's outflow. But the average Nigerian that's not even a banker, you have to start learning these things because, money in my FX account can't do X or Y for me. Then you now saw the, attempt by the CBN. I can't remember when that was. That was 2018, 2017, where they chased a lot of BDC operators on the roadside into the hills. That created an artificial scarcity. Then you hear, perhaps if you have, if you're depositing more than a certain amount in your account, it has to be reported. It's just all these policies after policies that just create this scare in the market, and people feeling like, I don't even know I can't even predict the future. And when you have this kind of, environment in which, people don't have, faith and trust, people then have to then find alternative means. It is incredible. I mean, the average Nigerian now doesn't have, the confidence that if I walk into a bank and I want to pay school fees for an online program to advance myself, perhaps in the area of accounting, information technology, or even medicine, my bank will give me the FX needed to see that I can, again, achieve new academic exploits and basically having to look for black market suppliers to fulfill this need. It's insane. You now have a situation where, again, they banned cryptocurrency at the time, went after accounts that were, traded. You create so much fear that your citizens start looking for alternative means to transact. No country should be doing that. Rather, we should be encouraging people into the traditional system. So it's implementation, policies that, again, don't have a human face to it, that we're only seeing rolled out by CBN. I'm not going to go into, whether we have enough FX in our, what you call it, ECA accounts, or perhaps if we're spending enough to fight against, the loss of the value of the naira. I am focused on local policy. I'm only thinking about the Nigerian soil and how they are being impacted by these insane rates. So if you are a family that saved 10 million naira to pay school fees for your ward in the UK, because again, schools are on strike, can't tell families that, they're going abroad, because what you found in the last 2 months is politicians children.
Oh, we seem to be losing connection with Akin.
We're getting trained over.
Akin, we're losing connection with you. We can hardly hear you now. All right, the conversation continues in a bit. Akin, just stay on the line. We'll be talking more. With some people are talking about, the fact that the dollar is being held up by politicians. The politicians are holding the dollar, looking at, the politics and the political season ahead of 2023, that these monies are being held so that they can, spend these dollars or release the dollar in the future. We'll be talking about that and more shortly. Keep the numbers close. You would need them when we open up the phone lines to take in your thoughts. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888.
Eagles 102.3 FM, your radio experience you can count on. Eagles, playing the music you want to hear.
What's up? My name's Oliver Tree.
Hey, it's Lizzo. Hi, this is Adele.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is P. Diddy. This your boy, Lil Flip. Yo, what up, people? This is Kanye. Yeah, it's Jay-Z. This is Lil Jon and me, Side Boy.
What's the deal? This is Ludacris.
Eagles 102.3.
The sun's up and so should your radio. Tune in to the sunny side on Eagles 102.3 FM. Every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m. Oh my God! Seriously? The Sunny Side Show. The Sunny Side Show. Break it down, down.
Back to the music in 3, 2, 1.
Let's go. Get the show on.
Back to some more music.
Right here. Check it out right here.
Time to break it down now. Break it down.
Eagles 102.3.
Get updates, get informed, avoid traffic, and get home early. Tune into Traffic Rush weekdays 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja.
Get a chance to talk your business.
Make some noise. One more time.
Hey, what's up? This is Kid 50 Cent.
Hey, what up? This is Chris Brown. What's up, y'all? This is Eminem.
Yeah, what's the deal? This is
For
Nas.
more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. The Entrepreneur. Talk your business for just 15,000 naira. This promo runs from May 1st to July 30th. Hurry now.
Eagles 102.3
Eagles 102.3 FM.
Long weekend.
Spend this holiday locked. My body got rid of them toxins.
Who's ready for winter?
It's a fun games until it gets
Nobody? Me either.
102.3.
102.3 FM, weekdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sounds like this.
Eagles 102.3.
The hits for your drive home.
The time is 9:30. You're plugged into your radio experience you can count on. You're onto Eagles Outlook this morning.
Your favorite music.
I listen non-stop.
Oh, my favorite music. I listen every day.
This is the home.
Eagles.
How the Nigerian naira is losing value by the day. Yesterday closed at about 6:30, 6:35, and many Nigerians are not happy about that. Against the dollar, why do we have to keep losing? Why does naira continue to lose its value? Why is it so scarce to get for businesses, for individuals who want to pay tuition, who want to, go for medical, who need medical attention, all that stuff? It's hard to get the dollar, and we're talking about that this morning with Akin Olaoye, who is an entrepreneur and also an analyst in the market, talking with us this morning. All right, you can join the conversation now. Call 09073530044 and 09087668888. SMS and WhatsApp messages are welcome on 09097054450. Don't forget to watch us live on YouTube and on Facebook. Hope we're streaming. I'm hoping so, because seems like the network has been a little messy this morning. Now, okay, let's get back to it. There are conversations about politicians holding the dollar. During the primaries, we saw, people say that the politicians were only giving dollars to delegates, and some people also believe that this hard currencies are being held up for election purposes in the 2023 cycle of general election. How does this affect the foreign exchange market in this country, and what can the CBN do to ensure that these people offload or release this dollars being or the currencies being held up? If you can respond to that, I can go ahead.
All right, so I think a lot of Nigerians often watch politicians from afar, but don't really have an understanding of how the engineering, of elections are executed. So I will say this to you, right? Let's think of a state government election. I'm not even talking federal, where as a presidential candidate, you have to finance political activities through your parties. What I call it, National Working Committee.
Hello, okay.
Because, yes, I'm here. So pay attention to those two figures I just dropped. 774 local government areas, 9,086 wards, and then in the general election cycle, 117,000 polling units. When you hear of structure, you hear of political party activity, either PDP, APC, or whatever party it is, and they have to again manage an organization of polling unit agents, ward chairmen, local government chairmen, and state party chairmen. Let me break it down for you. So if you're going to run for nationwide office, two things have to happen. You need to have the machinery, and you need to have the money in place to fund your activities, from logistics to operations costs, to training of your polling agents. Money has to move. So because the value of the naira, again, seeing the depreciation over the past few years, you need volume of cash. So now let me help you out. If you're in a state like Lagos State and you have to fund your party activity, these political parties, by virtue of the Campaign Finance Act, look for ways to hide how they move their monies, right? You many times find out that politicians, you hear, Amala politics, Ghana must go. Let me tell you what's happening. So if you have a state that's got 30 local government areas, the night before election, they need to take an Okada, they need to ride a taxi or get a hotel. You have to move this money across the state. So to move that money, what they would typically do is not a bank transfer, it's not a check, they move cash. So to move the cash, because of the volume, I'll give you an example. Imagine it's 500 naira notes, they need to move out and they need to pay an agent 10,000 naira per polling unit. Okay? think about this. Now listen to this number. You take a state where perhaps the state has got a total of 3,500 polling units, and they need to spend 3,500 per polling unit at 10,000 naira. 3,500 times 10,000, you are talking 350 million. 350 million, I hope my numbers are correct, needs to move across all local government areas to fund polling unit agents. They are not carrying Ghana must go badge or doing star 667 to do transfers from agent to agent. It is cash. To move that kind of volume of cash, they then default to the US dollar. So what are they doing now? 350 in the street, in naira, in dollars. When you do the calculation at perhaps, let's say 600, is $700,000. $700,000 perhaps will fit in a small traveling bag. We call it a duffel bag, right? Because you need 70 bundles of 10,000 naira, of $10,000 across all the local governments and polling units. So when they hoard dollars for elections, it is just to ease and to move the transfer of the money, in a very, very seamless fashion. You now think of a nationwide election, or you're thinking of a politician that's trying to win a few constituencies in a large state like Kano or some of the others, where money still has to move. Money runs Nigerian politics. It is insane. From paying for billboards, radio ads, to all of the other, costs that you find mobilizing for rallies. The volume is so large because the value of the currency is so low. So hoarding Forex is what they do to, again, equip themselves to be able to finance their campaigns. I hope that makes sense.
Does absolutely makes sense. Also, you can also talk about the fact that when you change, if you change $1,000 now, you may have about 600,000 naira. So that's easy to. It makes the money, a little bigger than what it naturally should be. Let's bring in callers now. 09073530044 and 09087668888. I saw a lot of you were itching to talk. Let's hear from you now. Don't forget, you can send messages to 09097054450. That's for WhatsApp and SMS. Bring in this caller. Hello, good morning. Oh, what's happening now? Hope the network doesn't do us dirty. All right, keep the calls coming. 09073530044 and 09087668888. Now, let's talk about the fact that people also think that there's a deliberate measure, deliberate attempt to stop Nigerians, especially young people, from traveling. With all of this, if the dollar goes up, it would be hard for people to travel. A friend of mine who returned from the U.S. A few weeks ago is trying to get back now, and she was trying to book a flight yesterday, and what the numbers there was scary. Several millions. A flight that a few years ago would cost you 300, 400,000 or 500,000 now goes for over 2 million naira, and it was scary. I'll bring in this caller before we talk about that. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Uh-oh, the network can be really annoying. Also, just to go, at that side by side, just recently, 2 days ago, we saw that the character certificate that used to be issued by the police for 5,000 naira has gone up to about 40,000 naira. How do you respond to these?
Well, I think first coming to the question of the cost of economic tickets, in and out of the country. Again, as you can understand, a lot of foreign airlines. Shame on us as a nation for not even having a national operator, because South Africa, Rwanda, they all have against their citizens having to pay for plane tickets, the salaries, the operations costs can be managed in their local currencies. But when you have foreign airlines coming to Nigeria like United, Delta, British Airways, Virgin, who again operate their services, in foreign economies, have to pay staff. They are forced to charge, foreign currencies for the equivalent, in naira, which is not available. Kudos to a lot of these airlines, I must admit, because sometimes I even find it interesting walking to an airline office and the price in the dollar. For example, the ticket is $2,000. You can pay at the CBN rate of $4.10 for that. So if you're a savvy traveler, you can find ways to save cost. Some travel agents, however, don't make it easy because they would convert the dollar for you at the parallel rate. I think they need to look into that because that's equally another area that is problematic for average Nigerians. But then again, the cost of air travel compared to the earnings of Nigeria, it's incomparable. It's just incredible. In 3 months, you have just what you need because the ticket round trip was 125K. The same ticket to Dubai today is almost 900,000. If you're flying one of the more premium airlines, we're going low-cost airline, you're still spending at least 400 to 500,000. So we're bleeding a lot of value in terms of what we're spending on travel.
I can please hold that thought before you respond.
Good morning, my friend. Good morning to your guest. You know, when you hear analysis like this, sometimes your head will be cracking. When you look at what is happening prior to this administration, if I'm not wrong, most of the naira to dollar was about 150 something, 190 something. Now, when this administration came on board, this naira keeps on going, the value keep on dropping, the dollar keep on increasing. Now, today we found ourselves for 635, 640. Now, even at that, I'm still from this kind of thing. I don't know whether I don't even know what to say, because if the government can sit back and look at the asset, that's the aspect, naira is just like an asset to us. Because when you look at the value of the naira in dollar, you begin to wonder, is it this same country that we used to have naira at 190, 150 something, and we were complaining that now we have it at 640, 635, 640. And then at this point, all local things, everything, you can imagine government agencies increasing charges. Is it because of the dollars too that what the police just the form that you just mentioned now? Is the form done in dollars? You know, there are some things that this government, I don't really know what is happening. And my pain in the system is that we have intellectuals, we have academia that are economists, professors of economics and all these things. I don't know whether they sit down to analyze this thing and look for solutions. We need okay, you carry $1,000. We're talking of almost 640 something naira. That was what we used to change as a 2030. So that, you know, the safer used to be like 600 to $1. Or if you go to carry naira, it will be like 300 and something to safer. But look at it today. The safer even has no value more than money is benefiting from somewhere. If the government cannot sit down and reject his own policies, it means they are also benefiting. They are doing it deliberately. And that's suffering is every little thing that you bring in this country. They are not even making an effort to increase our production so that we can be exporting. We just import. That little thing you make, it goes outside. I don't know. And I don't know whether it's because they feel this is coming to the end of the administration. Nobody is saying anything. The president is not saying it. Everybody just sit down, look. They're just looking while we're suffering. We turn to the right suffering, turn to the left suffering.
All right,
where are we heading to? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for calling. Let's get more calls. 09073530044 and 09087668888. I can please go ahead and continue your line of thought. I hope you didn't lose that.
Yeah, so you had asked a follow-up question to the cost of the airline tickets. I was trying to get my mental read on what that was.
Yeah, the character certificates what Nigerians have to pay more for from 5,000 naira to 40,000 naira.
So it's only laughable that the police force is being affected by the deodorant. The cost has gone up. So as a result, if he's holding a pen to again fill out a form to process, this character certificate, the cost of printing paper. I'm just joking, by the way. I think it's a very reckless, policy. But then again, the police force, in all of its mandate to secure the lives and protect, goods of their. And you look at the saving money money just enough, to buy a plane ticket, to save up school fees, to travel. Now has to factor in 40,000 naira cost in addition to very high visa application fees, just because they want to leave Nigeria in search of greener pastures, or where police forces equally looked at it as a way of balancing their books. Perhaps look at the budgetary allocation from the first. It's going to give the average Nigerian a break. It seems like we can't catch a break. Everywhere you turn, there's increased costs, even where there should not be any of that. So I think, again, it needs to be looked at. Is it, trying to become some type of deterrent from, again, reducing the opportunity available to people to leave the country in a way of stemming, when I look around you, they just wake up. It's like you're fighting Nigeria. Every day you are fighting Nigeria. You wake up with 5,000 naira to go get this character form, you get it 50,000 back home, wait a few more months, save up just enough to be able to go back to reapply. Can we get a break as Nigerians? It's bad enough that there's insecurity. You can't travel by road to Abuja, Kaduna, and say, hey, I'm at the mercy of cost. You walk it in the market, you want to buy a cup of Gary, it's times 4, times 5 because. And by the way, I don't know who's coming up with the fact that inflation is 20%.
It's about 18% by official figures.
Of the standing fan. A standing fan, if you were a laborer that worked in a hospital, buy a standing fan 6 years ago for 3,500 naira. Today, that same standing fan is 16,000 naira. More than 70% of your income. Is that a 20% increase? Let's go to the cost of tomatoes. Is that a 20% increase? So these numbers, Nigeria against other developing nations, you say, oh, Nigeria is not doing so bad now. 20% pocket. When you used to buy a plate of food down the street from your house, calculate what you spent on pure water 6 years ago, compare the same cost of pure water today. Is it 20%? The average Nigerian may not be a multi-millionaire, a multi-billionaire, but we are financially savvy. We can calculate, whether with a calculator or pen or and paper. Calculate and see if it is 20%. It is not 20%. The mobile phone in your hand that you buy 25,000 naira used, is that same mobile phone 25,000 naira today? Where is the power to manufacture goods by the day? You wake up every day, you ask yourself, what do I need a government for in this country? The only thing Nigerian government does for its citizens is to issue Nigerian passport, because there's no access to finance. Only if you have some type of connection. If you're in Nigeria, you have to provide your own security, build tall fences, employ a brigadier or a gateman, buy dog, put back wire, build burglary proof. You build a beautiful house. You can even open your window and stick it outside to collect a bag of chips. Because while you have iron rods separating you from the person that may come to attack you at night, you're in Nigeria, you have to drill a borehole in your backyard to provide yourself water. You're in Nigeria, like I can give you that says, hey, if you get yourself at the wrong time of the month where you have malaria or typhoid, no access to social services. So as a Nigerian, you're almost a government to yourself.
Aki, this is what let's talk about. Some of the solutions put forward is we're going into an election cycle or election year, and one of the solutions would be to vote those who you think have competence to do or make the country better, especially the economy. Now, what would be your thoughts on what the next CEO of this country are fixed?
So if I look at the next chief executive officer of this enterprise called Nigeria, you have to understand Nigeria is a very diverse nation. We are blessed with natural resources. But then a man that does not understand how to exploit the ingenuity of the human capital of the Nigerian, a man that cannot take cassava and process it into multiple products for export, a man that does not understand what yam can do to our economy when it's been harvested in a local farm in Imo State and exported either as powdered, for poundo or for many other, again, byproducts. A man that cannot run a business where he can pay staff, pay salaries, balance the books, pay for energy in a country like Nigeria where there's no power, has to still make sure that he has enough funds for operating expenses. A man that can't do those things should not occupy Aso Rock. Time and time we keep employing politicians who have built a career off of being political employees who cannot show you a known trade or hustle that says, hey, I understand what it takes on our and expand that business to Kano. these people end up in Aso Rock. So time and time again, you cannot give a man cannot give you what he does not have. So because we have not employed entrepreneurs to sit in Aso Rock and say, hey, the way I built my business from a 5 million naira business to a 5 billion naira business, let me bring in the same expertise and expand our economy. Because we keep selecting and electing the worst amongst us is why we end up at this point. Politics and religion is how we now characterize who we employ as president. We need to go after competency. So the person that will be the next president of the country has to understand what it takes to create jobs, has to understand what it takes to compete in a global economy.
Very
we need
well,
a president that can talk blockchain, cryptocurrency. It's incredible. We pick the worst amongst us, and I'm hoping 2023 we get it right.
Akin Olaoye, thank you so much for talking with us this morning. We really appreciate your time. Akin Olaoye is an entrepreneur and an active citizen, and he calls himself an obedient as well. Thank you so much, Akin, for talking with us. Appreciate your time on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, this is where we drop the anchors. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of it this morning. Thank you. The network did a lot of you in. I'm really sorry about that. But tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be back with fresh conversation on the table. The Jonas as well. My name